What is up, everyone? Today, a book that really got me into reading a lot more, at least 8 or 9 years ago, maybe. Star Wars, the Thrawn Series, Book 1, Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. This takes place 5 years after the original movies, so 5 years after Episode 6, basically. And so you've got, like, your usual characters, suspects here. You've got Luke, Leia, Han, Chewbacca, and then over here in the white is Thrawn, who's the main antagonist of the series. The infamous Thrawn, who's been put in the show Rebels. He's basically the Grand Admiral and is trying to pull together the remnants of the Empire and take back the Empire for himself, maybe? I don't know. His motives aren't super clear in this book, but maybe that'll get fleshed out in the later two books. I read this book like 8 or 9 years ago, like I said, so I can't really remember the series too well. But this book and this series definitely got me into the Star Wars expanded universe a lot more. This is a great place to start because this is basically what started the expanded universe and made Star Wars into really what we know it as today. Without this book, there might not have even been the prequel trilogy. That's how influential this series of books was. Because this came out in 1992, and before this, we only had the original trilogy and like the Chewbacca Christmas special, which the less said about that, the better. But yes, that's all like lore and whatever. How does this book and series actually hold up now to me as a reader, as an adult, and as someone who's seen the newest trilogy now as well? This won't be like compare and contrast video with the new trilogy and this trilogy. It'll be more of just me talking about this series individually. I do have to compare a little bit. And where I will compare is the use of like the old characters, Han, Luke, Leia, 3PO, Chewie, R2, all them. In this series, they're all very good or just amazing re-implementations of characters that we already know and love. Take them from the movies, put them in book form. And yeah, I mean, they're just the characters we all know and love. They have the same interactions with each other, the same level of like snarkiness. Maybe they've matured a little bit in the last 5 years, but you know, they're still, for all intensive purposes, they feel like the exact same people. Chewbacca actually really comes through well in the books, in book form, I think. And again, I'll try to keep this brief, but the new movies' original character interactions, particularly in episode 7 at the end, the lack of interaction between Leia and Chewbacca was probably most embarrassing thing to come out of the writers and directors rooms. And there was issues in episode 8, very big issues, and overall just a total embarrassment when it comes to the characters, the OG characters in the new trilogy. That was definitely not a problem here in this book, where the OG trilogy characters all came across very well. So yeah, old characters, very well done. New characters. We follow Thrawn and Pelion. Pelion's like Thrawn's second in command, basically. And we follow like the dark side or the Empire things from Pelion's perspective more so, which is interesting because Thrawn's obviously this super genius tactician, which you find out about right away. And actually, I think it would be a little bit more boring to follow around Thrawn just because he's so darn smart. But like when you're following around Pelion, you're kind of following around the old Empire mentality. And Pelion's trying to like connect it in his head what Thrawn's tactical vision for battles looks like compared to the tactical vision from the old Empire and from Vader and the Emperor himself. It's just a natural contrasting of the old Emperor's blunt force approach and Thrawn's strategic subtlety. And there's another bad guy you follow around, which is this old man on the cover. He's not too influential in this book, and honestly, not that interesting of a character yet. He's really more there to be introduced and be an influential character in the next books. So you've got the good guys, who are the ones we all know. You've got the bad guys, which I just talked about, and then you've got this kind of neutral smuggler group led by Talon Card, who is a new character, as well as Mara Jade, who is his second in command. Mara Jade I remember liking, but just not in this book, I guess. Card I liked a lot in this book, and he's done well throughout the series. He kind of gives off a bit of a Han Solo vibe of when you meet him in episode 4. So overall, characters good, plot pretty good. I have a few issues with it, but overall I like it. Everything comes together pretty well. The way the plot goes, it allows Thrawn to be his evil tactician genius. It allows Han and like all the old characters to do what they do best, which is kind of be a ragtag team of, rebels trying to sneak around and do all the good stuff that they do in the original trilogy. Yeah, this book is really more character driven. The political plot, honestly, is not very impressive, but it's a children's book, so the fact that it's oversimplistic, I think is fine. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Overall, I'd probably give this like a 3 out of 5 stars. It's good. I definitely enjoyed reading it. Probably not quite as good as I remember. I'm definitely going to reread the entire series and give my thoughts on the other books and the series as a whole. I'd still recommend it as an intro to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, even though now there's the separation between, legends and actual canon content. I still think this is like the spiritual successor to the original trilogy, not the new trilogy. And yeah, comment down below what you think. I haven't read a lot of like the newer Disney canon post-trilogy content, but you can kind of tell me what you think. Legends better, new Disney stuff better. Do you think I should recommend this for people to start their journeys into the Star Wars Expanded Universe? Do you think Old Republic stuff is a better place to start? I remember reading the Bane series. I'll probably reread that at some point and talk about that because that series is just awesome. Especially the first book of that series was my favorite Star Wars EU book. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and more book reviews coming soon. And yeah, bye.